What's up, everybody? It's your boy Tru Element 78 in the building with
your one and only reigning, defending Mondo Lucha Hall of Famer, the X-Man, Xavier Mustafa.
And everybody's favorite narcissist, the natural Chris Black.
I'm starting to think that Chris Black forgot who he was for a second there. I was like, man, he had a mini stroke or something over here. I'm like, man, you might become president one day if you keep taking long pauses like that. Anyway, we are here to discuss the classic film with you guys, known as The Rundown. It wasn't necessarily I don't really know how to classify it, if it was a WWE film or not. Vince McMahon was posted as the executive producer. The Rock starred in it. And we did get some clips of the XFL included in the film, but I didn't get to see that WWE logo flash. But we're here to discuss it because it is part of our film series. We did have a guest all lined up to be on here, but due to scheduling conflicts, they are unable to be on here, but the show must go on. We got to get you guys that content. I don't know. Xavier Mustafa's looking shocked right now.
I just came across an article that made me very happy. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now. So,
all right. So, yes, let me give you guys a little bit of information about the film, The Rundown, for those of you who haven't seen it. And this is coming straight from IMDb. They say that the synopsis of this film is: a tough, aspiring chef is hired to bring home a mobster's son from the Amazon forest or Amazon jungle, but becomes involved in a fight against an oppressive town operator and the search for a legendary treasure. And the film stars Dwayne Johnson, Sean William Scott from American Pie fame, Christopher Walken just from fame, infamy, as well as my girl, my biggest celebrity crush, Rosario Dawson.
I love her.
And the movie... Oh, go ahead.
I said I love her and everything she's in.
Yeah. This movie came out in 2003, and this was really the first good Rock movie, in my opinion.
I was thinking that when I was watching. I was like, I think this was probably, and you know what? Because this was the first, like, actually good Rock movie, not that the Scorpion King was bad. I mean, not the Scorpion King.
Mummy 2.
Mummy 2 was bad. It wasn't bad. He just wasn't in the movie at all, really. But I didn't see this movie in the theaters. I waited until it came out on DVD, and when I saw it, I was just like, oh, this is actually a very fun, entertaining movie. Action-packed, love the fighting scenes.
Yeah, so in this movie, like the synopsis said, The Rock plays a character known as Beck, simply as Beck. He has a background that we don't really know why he's forced into this life of basically becoming a running people down, as they say. He goes and retrieves things from people, or retrieves people who have wronged the mafia or the mob or whatever. I always watched this movie and always felt like the guy that was sending him out to go do these things, I always felt like it was like a judge that was like holding things over his head. I never got the feel that it was like a mobster. Just felt like a dirty judge or something. Like, I can make all of this disappear, if you just do one more job for me.
He seemed more like just a crooked, like, bounty hunter, like boss or something like that.
Yeah. So this is a movie, like I said, this was the first really good Rock movie, in my opinion, out of all the things that he has starred in. And it's very fun, very funny. I know I'm giving you guys like my thoughts as far as the movie overall right here at the top. It is a film that if you have not seen it, I say see it.
Oh, yeah, because we about to spoil the shit out of it.
Right. So if you haven't seen it, cut this review off right now. Go watch it. Come back and listen to this review.
I mean, if you've been spoiled.
All right. All those guys left the room. You said what?
Oh, I thought something weird just happened. I said, if you're getting spoiled from this movie that came out like 35 years ago, you need to get a new life.
Please, you still got people on Facebook complaining, dude, don't spoil, I fucked up my joke.
Don't spoil Star Wars. Don't spoil the Phantom Menace.
Infinity Wars, I was thinking that. You spoiling Infinity Wars. Like, I remember someone did that like a year later. It's like, we don't go somewhere.
Oh yeah, I got a rule. I was like, once a movie makes over $200 million, shut the hell up about spoilers, bro. If a movie reaches $200 million, that means that everybody who's gonna see that movie
You can post spoilers.
has seen that damn movie. So, yeah. So the rundown, like I said, 2003 film. The Rock had up to this point. Actually, let me pull up his filmography up until this point. I believe it was The Scorpion King. I mean, no, The Mummy 2, The Scorpion King. I think he did Doom before this movie, and then
Which I have not seen to this day.
there's no reason for you to. You know what? You get one shitty, terrible movie that you can watch, and so those films, the choices are the Street Fighter film, the Doom film, or the Dragon Ball Z Evolution film.
Okay, I will even say Street Fighter is better than Doom.
Yeah,
But
I'll watch Street Fighter.
One thing I will say about Doom, though, the first half of the movie I thought was great. And then as soon as they went in first-person shooter mode, it was trash. It was trash the rest of the movie. I was like, how did they do that 180 like that?
Yeah, that's very jarring. But yeah, Chris Black, if you want to watch that film, you're more than welcome to go ahead and give yourself an aneurysm.
I'm good.
I already told you, you're already showing signs of being a stroke if you see that movie.
I'm good. I'm good on that. I've survived this long without seeing it.
Have you though? Have you? You haven't lived until you've seen that movie. But what did you guys think of the film? I've talked a lot, so I'll let you guys give your overall thoughts, and then we'll get into the spoilers.
Well, first of all,
go ahead.
Well, first of all, I really enjoyed this cast. Like I said, Christopher Walken, he plays a very good heel, bad guy, spoiled, whatever. The Rock, he played his role. I think this is the movie where you really could see that he's got some comedic chops to him. His comedic timing was pretty good. Sean William Scott, he's always going to be Stifler to me. But I really enjoyed him in this film. He got to be all goofy and shit. Rosario Dawson got to be sexy. I enjoyed the story. It wasn't like a Michael Bay, let's just have action just to have action. Like they had a point. They actually did have a storyline, although there may have been some holes there, here and there. It was still a pretty good story overall. Like I said, I was engaged the entire movie. I've seen this movie numerous times. I watched it again today before we did the review, so just to kind of refresh myself of it. But again, I get the thumbs up to this movie. It was a great movie. It's a good watch, especially if you want something just action-packed, entertaining.
And it's an easy watch. It's almost a 2-hour movie, but that time flies by.
Yes, it really does.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When I saw that hour and 44 minutes today, when I refreshed myself with the movie, I was like, but it was tolerable. I forgot that it was actually a decent movie with some good actors. Christopher Walken it's fantastic in a lot of movies that he does. I do like him as a villain because he does have that like villain face. And then Sean William Scott, I think this is right before he fell off the face of the earth because I think the American Pie movies was before this. And like, what is that dude doing now?
Yep. Well, he did Goon, which you haven't seen Goon. That was a great Sean William Scott film. And now he does a lot of TV. He's a producer on a bunch of stuff. He has the show Bloodlines that was on. So he's still working.
American Wedding must have came out after this, though.
Yeah, American Wedding came out after this. That was 2004 or 2005. And actually, I was wrong. So The Rock, as far as his movie credits it went, he did The Mummy Returns. Then he did The Mugger. I believe that was the name of the movie. Where'd it go? Not The Mugger. It wasn't called.
What is that?
He played a mugger. So yeah, he went from The Mummy Returns to The Scorpion King. And then he had a little bit role in another film. And then he did The Rundown. And then after The Rundown, he did Walking Tall, which this movie is basically the precursor to Walking Tall, even though Walking Tall is based on a true story. But The Rock had a whole thing in this film where he didn't like guns because guns made him go loco. And in Walking Tall, he kind of plays.
Walking Tall was the prequel.
But yeah, so yeah, the rundown, like I said, he's a bounty hunter. The first guy that he has to go retrieve something retrieved from a guy was $50,000 that he owed to the mob. And the guy, The Rock has to go and find him. He finds him in his club. He's got a ton of bodyguards. And the guy's he's going to give The Rock the rundown, or should I say The Rock's character, Beck. He's going to give Beck the rundown on all the guys, but he already recognizes all the guys as NFL linemen and different things like that he recognized from their college days and supposed to be the NFL. But, they couldn't afford the NFL license for clips, so they did the next best thing. They used clips from the XFL. Which I found hilarious. I was like, that's not an NFL. That's not even a college logo.
Because those are free.
And of course, within the first 5 minutes, we get the rock bottom.
Right. This is when, if you were a wrestler and you were in a film, you got to do the move. You got to do the move. Remember Triple H had to hit the suplex into the blood?
And then later on in the movie, clothesline.
Honestly, I was waiting for him to pull out the pedigree.
Actually, a quick segue. Out of all the Hogan movie, we watched the Hogan movie. We watched No Holds Barred. Did Hogan ever hit the leg in any of his movies? I can't remember.
He did it in No Holds Barred, but of course that was in a wrestling context. Oh wait, no, he did not. He did the big boot and he did the double hammer gimmick.
Did Axe Hammer.
Yeah.
Double Axe. No,
I don't think he has.
Hogan's like, the leg costs more, brother. That's a no for me, brother.
Well, shit, based on how that simple move had done damage to his body, apparently, maybe he didn't want to do it.
Right. So, but basically, you watch this film, and this is basically John Wick before John Wick, as far as the action is concerned, because The Rock dispatches 8 big ass linebackers without really taking any damage.
Yeah. Nice fight coordination.
Yeah, great fight scenes in here. It's very hilarious though, because the obvious stunt double is obvious. And I actually had to go and look up who the stunt double was, and it's kind of crazy to see The Rock in Hollywood still doing his thing. He had the show Ballers where he was a producer, an executive producer. The Rock is taking over Hollywood. He's one of the highest paid stars and most demanded stars in all of Hollywood right now. And
damn, he looked young in this movie.
Yeah, but one of the most interesting thing is seeing that he didn't just bring himself to Hollywood. He brought his ex-wife to Hollywood. She's his agent. He brought, in this movie alone, this is only his third role, really. His cousin actually played his stunt double in this film. Mm-hmm. I found that really interesting. If I can find his name, I had it all pulled up. I can't find it right now, but yeah, he brought his family to Hollywood with him, and he's still doing it. You see that he had Roman Reigns in the Fast and the Furious spinoff. Yeah, Hobbs and Shaw. So, yeah, shout out to that man for not forgetting where he came from and those who helped him get to where he is. Oh, there it is. His cousin's name is Tanoa Reed. So, and he actually won the Stuntman of the Year award in 2004 for his work in this film. And he also broke his leg, or was it his leg or his ankle? I can't remember. He broke something in his leg in a scene where The Rock and Sean William Scott are driving on a mountainside, and Sean William Scott causes him to veer off the side in the Jeep. And on the fall down the hill is where his stunt double got hurt. So
look, I'm watching that scene today, and I was just like, God damn, nobody would have survived that shit. Like, there's no way in hell you're not having some broken bones after taking a fall like that.
Black Widow watched that scene and was like, bullshit. Oh no, she couldn't watch that scene because she's dead.
Too soon.
Xavier Mustafa's not entertained right now. He's over there making he's making the Miz girl face at me right now.
The Miz girl face?
Just seething over there. But you haven't said a lot, Mustafa. What you got to say?
No comment.
So another scene, another part that I missed in the club was you get a cameo from Arnold Schwarzenegger in the film.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was pretty cool. Like I was like, why though?
I always thought that too. I was like, why Arnold Schwarzenegger in there? And I always thought it might have been that Arnold was maybe was gonna do the film and maybe couldn't or was too expensive. So they were like, well, we'll just have him in there.
Look, I think that they were just a bit ahead of their time. But when I first saw that scene, to me, that was Schwarzenegger passing the torch to The Rock as the new action guy. Can you not see The Rock playing a Terminator role?
He told him, have fun. He's like, have fun.
Yeah, I think that was him passing the torch to The Rock. The next big action.
And that's what
guy.
that's what a lot of people said, because what was actually going on is that day Arnold Schwarzenegger was filming something for one of the Terminator movies, probably Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines. A very underrated Terminator movie if you have not seen it, compared to all of the crap that we got that came after that.
Is Terminator
that
3
was the crappiest of the three?
Is Terminator 3 the one that ended in the bunker? When the bomb went off?
No, that was Salvation. Yeah. No, that was Salvation.
No, that is the one where they ended up in the bunker.
No,
Terminator where they survived Judgment Day.
No, that was Salvation. Terminator Salvation. I saw that on my birthday, and I was so upset.
You're gonna be so salty when you go back and you realize that I'm right.
Maybe they did end up in a bunker and hold up. Maybe they did end up in a bunker in 3, but they ended up in a bunker at the end of Salvation as well.
Because that was also the one with the female Terminator, right?
Yeah, that was 3. So maybe they end up in a bunker in 3 as well. But Terminator Salvation was the shittiest Terminator movie ever got, in my opinion.
I was about to say, I don't remember much because I saw it once, and I don't think I paid attention till the end.
I remember the whole point of that movie was, no matter what you do, you are not going to stop.
Judgment Day.
And that was the end of the movie. I was like, oh shit, fucked up.
Yeah. All I remember, like I said, I barely remember 3. I remember the scene in the. I don't even know how we're even going off on Terminator, but I remember the scene. I remember the scene in the graveyard, and the Terminator was carrying the casket, and a fucking female Terminator was fucking him up. But anyways, yeah, he was filming that, and he just happened to be around. They're like, "Hey, you want to come make a cameo?" And that was the cameo. It wasn't anything prepared or anything like that. And a lot of people viewed that as the passing of the torch, as you stated before, which, once again, if anybody knows anything about Arnold Schwarzenegger's movie career, he was in a bunch of crappy stuff in the beginning, and then he became one of the biggest and highest paid actors, and he didn't even have to speak English well.
Right.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So like I said, The Rock beats everybody up in the bar. He collects the diamond or Super Bowl ring, I guess is what they had. He takes it back to the mobster. It was supposed to be his last job. The mobster, actually, you know what?
Yeah, he didn't take it to the mobster.
Yeah, he didn't. I was about to say, he didn't take it back to the mobster. The mobster sent another insurance policy to steal it from him. And because The Rock got the merchandise stolen from him, but the mobster still got his merchandise, he docked The Rock's money. And The Rock was like, I want out. I just want my restaurant. Which is why he was doing work for this guy to raise money to open up his own restaurant. He's like, well, I got one more job for you. He's like, I need you to go and retrieve my son for me from the Amazon. And I'll give you $250,000 to go and do it.
Here's a question. So anybody in that type of business or in the drug business, when the drug lord tells you that they just got one more job for you, why do they never understand that's a lie?
It was true in John Wick.
They understand that you're going to die after you complete the next job. You don't retire from the mob.
I swear, like I need that one daytime talk show guy to be like, the results are in. That was a lie.
Yeah. So The Rock makes his way over to the Amazon, which is actually very interesting. And this is on the director's commentary for the film. The filmmakers say that when they went to Brazil to go and scout out locations, that they actually got robbed at gunpoint. And so after that happened, they were like, we'll just film it in Hawaii instead.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I found that hilarious. A lot of people say it was probably a joke, but we'll just say it was real life so these guys don't go get canceled. And there's a lot of continuity errors in this film. One of the first major continuity errors was made after The Rock was attacked and robbed of the ring. The guy shot him in his left eye with the beanbag. But when he's in the mobster's house putting a bag of frozen peas on his eye, it's his right eye that's all messed up. And there's going to be tons of continuity errors in this film, and I won't point them all out. But there is a scene towards the end of the movie where you see these guys that are about to attack The Rock pull their whips out to start whipping him.
Hold on, what are we talking about again? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm like, that didn't sound good, but okay.
that was the y'all didn't watch that cut? I watched the wrong film.
Oh, that was that Pornhub chopped and screwed version.
I was watching the wrong film.
It's called Rock Bottom.
That's a different kind of rundown.
Yeah, but anyways, the guys pulled out these bull whips to start whipping The Rock, and then the next scene, they haven't even taken them out of the holsters yet, or off their sides, off their hips at all. So those were two major ones, but there's a ton of other ones. Like you see the stunt doubles falling down. He got like long, shaggy hair and everything. Like
when they were falling down the mountain.
Yeah,
that was hilarious. It was almost as bad as "I'm gonna get you, sucker."
I was like, that guy got like blonde hair. It's like brown, long hair. I was like, y'all couldn't shave his head.
Listen, that was as bad as "I'm gonna get you, sucker" when she was like, "Nobody's gonna lay a finger on my baby," and then she turned into a white guy.
I gotta find that movie and watch it now.
So we arrive on the island in a rickety old plane and everything like that, and The Rock is willing and dealing. He's not kiss stealing just yet in the film, but he meets up with Christopher Walken's character, and he's like, if you're looking for this guy, why are you coming to me? And he's like, well, I don't just go to somebody's house and stick my hand in the refrigerator and start taking things out. And so Christopher Walken is like, refrigerator? And he takes him out back and he shows him what he has going on, because Christopher Walken pretty much runs this part of the Amazon. He has all of everybody who lives in this town working in his mines, mining for gold or anything of any value, but he's not paying them well at all. He's treating them poorly. He's making them work hard hours, and
they're basically like sharecroppers. They have to rent all their tools and shit in order to do the work. So they're always kind of like in debt or working basically for cheap.
Right. And so nobody that lives there likes the guy at all. But he has an army around him. He surrounded himself with an army of people with guns, and none of these other people have any guns or anything like that. So they can't fight back. But The Rock isn't here for that. He's here to retrieve his package from the island and get it back to America.
Boy, you won one tonight.
Get your minds out of the gutter. Jesus Christ, I'm working with children. Children, I tell you. So Christopher Walken's character's name is Hatcher. So Hatcher's like, all right, well, pay me $10,000 and you can go do whatever you need to go do. So he pays him the $10,000. we get a scene where Sean William Scott is in the bar and he's flirting with the bartender. He's brought her flowers and everything like that. The bartender is actually Rosario Dawson. That's the character that she plays. They have an interaction where they're talking about this thing called the El Gato, which is like, it's supposed to be like this thing that's made of like solid gold and supposed to be very, very valuable. And Sean William Scott's character is the only one who's supposed to know where it is. And Rosario Dawson keeps pressing him, trying to figure out like what he wants to do with it when he finds it, because little does Sean William Scott know she wants it so that she can enrich herself or enrich the people of the island. I can't really tell based on what the little deception that she does.
She's the rebel leader, low key.
Yeah, but remember, she's like, money changes you after she poisons the guys, which we'll get into soon enough. It seemed like she was gonna try and escape with the cat, but then once everybody knew that the thing existed, she had no choice but to probably share the wealth with everybody. So I don't know, why would she, there was no reason for her to double cross The Rock and Sean William Scott when she did. So I felt like she was about to try and leave that bitch.
That's, cat will do that to you. You know what I'm saying?
For what we know now, Rosario Dawson was very much into the cat at this time as well.
I'm going to give y'all an interesting Mustafa fact. This movie, since I've seen this movie, I have never peed in any type of body of water. Because when they got to that scene, when I was a kid, and they got to that scene, I was like, yep, not doing it. You would never see me just openly pee into a lake or a river. No. Nope.
So for those of you who invite Xavier Mustafa over into your hot tub for some thought action, or you invite him to the pool for some summer sounds, you don't got to worry about him pissing in your water.
That's true. I don't care if it's chlorinated or not.
Just
I don't
maybe
trust
on
it.
you if you pay enough. So, yeah. So, like I said, Sean William Scott's flirting with Rosario Dawson's character. The Rock strolls in. He starts questioning Rosario Dawson if she knows the guy. Sean William Scott's character comes out of the bathroom. The Rock saw him come out of the bathroom. He's like, yeah, the guy that I'm looking for is probably looking at me with a real bewildered look right now. And he turns around and he introduces himself, and he gives Sean William Scott's character two options. He's like, option A, you can walk out of here peacefully with me and we can go on board the plane and fly you back to your dad and take care of whatever your issue is with him. And Sean William Scott was like, well, what's option B? He's like, well, option B is very much the opposite of option A. There's a lot of pain that you're going to experience. A lot of discomfort is going to come with option B. So Sean William Scott character chooses option B, but of course he can't fight.
Oh, no. He chose option C.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, actually chose option C, which was to try to...
the heels.
Well, remember he tried to fight back at first, and then he did get handcuffed by the Rock and everything like that.
He is, so mean,
option
so
B is
angry.
Full effect. Yeah. So
right away, they've got great chemistry between these two guys.
Yes.
Yeah. I would love to see I would have loved to have seen a part 2 of this.
Right.
And like those two are running people down together now for fun. But I guess The Rock got his restaurant, so I don't know. Well, yeah, there could be a part 2 of this because no good deed goes unpunished.
Right.
So option C does come in, which is Christopher Walken and his group of thugs, I guess you could say, come into the bar, and they let The Rock know that, hey, he knows where the El Gato is or whatever, so he's not going anywhere until he gives us that. And The Rock's like, well, I paid you $10,000. He's like, well, consider that a life insurance policy or a health insurance policy for you. The Rock says, well, I'm feeling quite healthy myself and stuff. So he ends up fighting off all the goons and everything like that, dispatches them. This takes apart their guns and everything because he doesn't use guns. And he ends up getting out of there with Sean William Scott's character. As they're driving along the mountainside, he's trying to bargain with The Rock to let him go. And when The Rock is like, I don't give breaks or anything like that, he makes him veer off the edge of a cliff, which is where we get the, like we said, spliced in obvious stunt doubles for both characters falling down a hillside for about a minute straight. They end up falling into a ravine or a pond or whatever, with the Jeep falling on top of them, basically. It doesn't hit either one of them, though, and Sean William Scott sees The Rock kind of disoriented, so he goes over and grabs the handcuffs out of his pocket and handcuffs himself, and then begins to try to run away from The Rock. The Rock ends up catching him and beats him up again, handcuffs him, and they're walking through the rainforest. And as they're walking through the rainforest, Sean William Scott's character has to pee. I'm giving you kind of a blow by blow, but the movie is hilarious. It's one of the funny scenes. He's like, I gotta pee, and The Rock was like, well, go ahead and pee. And he's like, I can't get it out. He's like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not helping you.
He's like, don't make this weird.
Yeah. So, but eventually he does unzip him, but he does not pull that thing out for him to pee. So he's got to like jimmy it and shake it and then give it a pep talk so he can get the stream going. And while that's happening, The Rock ends up getting caught into a snare that pulls him into the sky. Sean William Scott character thinks he's scot-free now because The Rock is hanging upside down from a tree, but little does he know that he takes a step and he ends up getting snared. They get attacked by some monkeys.
Some horny monkeys.
Yeah, who ends up face fucking The Rock. And then the monkeys are scared away by some rebels who come and cut down The Rock and Sean William Scott and take them back to their encampment. At their encampment, Sean William Scott does speak Portuguese because the movie takes place in Brazil. So he's speaking to the people, and he's telling The Rock to look at them menacing and don't blink and stare at them in their eyes. And so The Rock is doing that, and the guy's like, why is he staring at me like he's crazy? And he's like, he's disrespecting your ancestors. He says that he pisses on all their graves. So they challenge The Rock to a fight pretty much to the death. And Sean William Scott is like, look, they're tiny people, man. You shouldn't have any trouble fighting them. But The Rock's in a fight.
That's oh boy from Ninja Turtles too.
The pizza delivery guy?
Yes, that is him.
Wow, that is awesome. I didn't know that.
Dude's name? Isn't it like Emilio something?
I can't think of his name in the Turtles movie. It escapes me right now, but that's him.
Okay, well, that's very interesting. Like I said, I'm not going to give you guys a blow by blow. I'm running down the beginning of the movie.
Great fight scene.
Like I said, if any of this sounds interesting at all, yeah, great fight scene. The Rock gets jumped by like 10 little Brazilian guys. And then they eventually do dispatch him, but then he is saved by Rosario Dawson's character, who is reintroduced here as the leader of the rebels. So that's pretty much the blow by blow stuff that I'm going to give you guys. Now we can kind of hop all over the place in the film because there's a ton of stuff in here. But like I said, the time blows past when you watch this movie. And Christopher Walken's character is awesome. He has a bunch of the one-liners and randomness that you expect from Christopher Walken. Like there's a part in here where he's trying to explain to what The Rock is doing by taking Sean William Scott character and possibly going after the treasure as somebody coming into your house and taking your money that the Tooth Fairies left you. And none of the guys knew what the Tooth Fairy was, so he has to try to explain to them what the Tooth Fairy is.
I want my goddamn tooth.
Yeah, that was actually interesting because that was actually footage that was actually a speech that was changed in the film. Like originally it was something like he was supposed to be talking about like Winnie the Pooh. Like he was supposed to like make a comparison to like getting honey out of the pot, but Disney threatened to sue them if they talked about Winnie the Pooh in the film. So they changed it to the Tooth Fairy, which is even more funny because later on, a couple years down the line, The Rock makes a movie with Disney called
The Tooth Fairy. This is the Rock universe we got going. You got The Rundown, you got Walking Tall, Tooth Fairy.
Hey, you also had Darkness Falls. If y'all ever seen that movie, that was about the Tooth Fairy.
Yeah, but then there's also the connection in here where The Rock actually ends up, he worked with one of the guys in the film. I forgot which character it was, but they were in the original, what was it called? I can't remember the name of it. Be Cool was the sequel to it.
Oh,
Get Shorty.
Shorty. There you go.
Yeah. The guy he played, one of the guys in the film, was in Get Shorty, and then The Rock was in Be Cool later. So, if you believe in the Illuminati, 7 degrees of separation and all of that different type of stuff. The Rock was out here making all them deals.
Right.
So, where else do you guys want to take it? I'm talking a lot. I'm gonna let you guys talk about some of the things in the movie that you noticed or that you like. I'll start with Mustafa because he hasn't said a lot.
I've said a lot. I don't know what I want to point out that I haven't talked about already.
Well, when you mentioned that the part where he was warned not to pee in the water, I like the scene where Travis, Sean William Scott, actually gets the gato and the trap that they had to go through. It was real Indiana Jones-esque, where he had to retrieve it with the rocks and holding up the pole. Okay, see, now I'm sounding like Tru Element. Holding up the poles,
What was the thing with monkeys in this movie? Because I felt like every scene with monkeys was just weird, odd for some reason.
Because one of the Rock's catchphrases is monkey ass. That's what I'm assuming. Because you got him doing the catchphrase, shut your mouth, while they were driving. After they get the gato, or they retrieve the gato, that's where Rosario Dawson basically tricks them, and she drugs them with some kind of plant, some kind of fruit that makes them basically paralyzed. And I kind of like the scene how Sean William Scott saw the Rock's face all becoming all morphed. And then again, like you said, here comes the monkeys again. once it wore off, she gets kidnapped, and the Rock is taking Sean William Scott back to his plane. The guy's bitching about what happened to my Jeep. The Rock is like, I'll take care of that. Then he informs them that Hatcher has caught up with Rosario Dawson, and they got her and the gato, and Rock's got to make a decision whether or not he wants to leave with his prize or go back and save the girl. And of course, because he's the hero, he has to go back and save the girl.
Why would you save the girl? She just left you in a compromised position.
Cause, man, he's a hero.
I mean, she pretty much GHB'd him. And then they woke up being attacked and raped by monkeys.
I don't know what cut you saw, but I don't think I remember the rape part.
Hey, it was about to happen. But luckily, if you get so mad at monkeys, you can will yourself out of paralyzation. Is that a word? Did I just make that up?
Paralysis.
There we go. I was like, that doesn't sound right.
So when he goes to the compound to retrieve Rosario Dawson and the gato, of course, he has to go up against the army. Oh, okay, so the way that he got their attention, he had this guy named Declan come out with the bagpipes. And damn it, I wish our guest would have showed up because, he had the Irish gimmick when he was wrestling. So he's playing the bagpipes, and then out comes a whole bunch of bulls. And then there's basically a big-ass showdown in this compound with The Rock, Sean William Scott versus like this entire army. Again, nice fight scene. Rock finally gets his hands on some guns. And of course, we all heard earlier that bad things happens when he gets the gun. So
very bad things, which actually was a play off of the director's first feature film. It was called Very, Very Bad Things. So he threw that in there, John Berg. Actually, I didn't even mention who directed the film. So it was, I believe, John Berg was the director of the film, or Peter Berg. Sorry, not John Berg. Peter Berg. So, an interesting tidbit about the film at the end when Christopher Walken was running everybody down and in the town because The Rock had given him option A and option B. Once again, he was like, "Look, you could just walk out of town peacefully on your own accord." And he was like, "Well, what's option B?" And he's like, "I make you." So at the end of the film, Christopher Walken gets to do his training day speech, basically.
I was thinking that.
How y'all gonna do this to me? I gave you food. I put food on your plate. I gave you guys purpose and everything like that. And he calls them Oompa Loompas. Now, the thing about that is Christopher Walken is an old man. Even when this film came out, he was an old man. Christopher Walken had never seen the film Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. So he didn't even know what an Oompa Loompa was. He didn't even want to say the line because he didn't know what it was. So Peter Berg actually gave him a copy of the movie, and then after he watched it, he was okay with calling them all Oompa Loompas.
Oh, wow, what a professional. He's got to, before he makes that insult, he's got to know the context.
Hey, it's smart. Hey, he had a crystal ball. He saw 2021. He's like, man, can I call all these brown people Oompa Loompas? How's that going to play?
Hashtag cancel Christopher Walken.
That's actually been the thing that I kind of want to point out for anybody who's listening to this show. And it's not to get political on this podcast right now or about this episode, but how everybody wants to talk about how movies are so lame now because they're so woke. We reviewed a bunch of WWE films already, and all of them have woke messages, and most of them center around how capitalists are bad people and take advantage of everybody and cause nothing but death and destruction where they go, and then some guy has to come and rein them in. Because this film was just all about how this American guy went down to Brazil, had all these people working for nothing, giving them nothing, and so somebody had to come down there and save everybody from this tyrant, basically. It had a very woke message. So I don't want to hear. I'm just tired of hearing that narrative that movies are too woke nowadays. This is 2003. We're in the midst. We're at the tail end of the Attitude Era.
Right. Where people weren't so damn sensitive.
And we were still having bra and panties matches.
So how did you like the death of Hatcher, Christopher Walken? I thought that was kind of, I guess he deserved worse than just being shot and then just dropping dead.
Well, for those who have already watched our Condemned episode, we're reviewing this after watching it Condemned. And so, yeah, he wasn't dispatched in such a outlandish way.
Like he should have been thrown into the mines or, dropped down the mines where people were climbing. He, sacrifice him to the gods or something. I don't know. They could have did something worse. He deserved a worse death.
I've noticed in Hollywood, they try to go away from that. It's like they give them the simplest death and they were the worst characters. Like in Game of Thrones, Cersei, she got a nice death instead of just being like
spoiler alert
apart. Instead of being ripped apart by lions or slowly dripped acid on her face or something like that. It's like, come on, this lady was so evil to everybody, and this is what she gets. Wow.
Yeah, it was actually kind of funny. That's another Easter egg in the film, that the images they showed of everybody working in the mines when Christopher Walken was giving The Rock kind of an overview of the mines, and The Rock told him that it looks like hell down there. The images they showed were actually from a famous mine in Brazil called Serra Pelado. So those were like actual images of people who had worked in a mine in Brazil.
Man, that shit looks like hell.
So that's another tidbit for you guys when you're watching the film. They show you real conditions of people in those mines in Brazil. So let that kind of sink in a little bit, I guess.
For all you people that love the gold and the diamonds and shit, these are the people that has to dig that shit out and the conditions they live in. Right.
So all you women that want that diamond wedding ring, but you want to be woke.
Right?
Listen.
Cancel engagement rings. Hashtag cancel engagement rings.
Listen, I'm not finna go to work and have to go down 18 stories of ladders just to play around in some mud to try to find some gold or whatever I can find, to work probably 20 hours to go climb 18 ladders again, 18 stories high. Now, that's ridiculous.
All right. So I want to point to when the double cross happens with Rosario Dawson's character. So The Rock.
Oh, we lost Tru Element.
Oh, he's about to talk about the double cross. I don't know. Did we miss anything else before while we're waiting for him? Any other scene that you like? Like, what did you like most about this movie?
I really like, and I know we talked about this earlier, the chemistry between all of the characters. The chemistry between Sean William Scott, The Rock, and Christopher Walken.
Yeah. Yeah, the scene where Sean William Scott tries to fight The Rock in the jungle, where he's doing the whole, do you like this guy? You recognize him? This is your friend? And The Rock is like, stop.
Thunder,
he like,
lightning.
Son of a bitch.
He's like a little bit of thunder, a little bit of lightning, punch in the face.
He's like, stop it. He's like, if you're done beating me up, you ready to go now?
It looked like he hit him so hard too, which made it great.
Those two had like amazing, like almost like buddy cop chemistry together. Where it's like, no, the odd couple. Like The Rock was the straight man and Sean William Scott is the goofball.
So I do want to point out that this movie had a budget of $85 million. Looks like in the box office it only made $80.9 million.
What?
Yep.
See, you know something? So I probably wasn't the only one that when they announced, The Rock is going to do this movie, I was just like, meh, I'll wait till it comes out on DVD. I think that's what happened because had people known how good this movie was going to be, I think it would have done better in the box office.
Yeah, so you cost them.
Hey, apologies there, everybody. Lost some internet connection right there. But like I was saying, Rosario Dawson did keep her promise to both The Rock and Sean William Scott's
characters. How you just gonna come in here all late and then just cut us off what we was talking about? Rude.
We were talking about the budget, goddammit.
Right. We done moved on since you got disconnected. What's going on?
Yeah. So anyway, she kept her word. She gave The Rock the directions to the airplane. And Sean William Scott's character has to go with The Rock or whatever while she takes the Elgato. The thing I just wanted to point out about that was that the fruit that they ate was a real fruit, but it's called the camoya or the custard apple. And where you buy it, the fruit doesn't actually cause paralysis in real life. It's eaten all over the world. It's supposed to be a really delicious fruit. So you yourself can have some con labos whenever you want to. So you guys were talking about the budget and the movie didn't make as much money as you thought it would have made.
Yeah. Mustafa was. Well, go ahead, Mustafa.
Well, what I said before I was rudely interrupted.
Anyways, I was talking to you, Chris Black. We don't care what Xavier Mustafa has to say.
Well, no, it had a budget of $85 million and only made a little under $81 million, which kind of shocked me. I actually thought it made its budget, but apparently it did not. Of that, The Rock got $12.5 million for that movie.
And now he's the $40 million man.
Right. But yeah, like I was saying when you were gone, I think that everyone's attitude was similar to mine. Like, oh, a Rock movie, okay, I'll wait till it comes out on DVD. And I'm kind of pissed that I waited. I should have seen it in the theater. And I think a lot of people, if they would have known how good this movie was going to turn out to be, I think it would have made more than 81 million.
So The Rock made some terrible movies. Y'all see that one Rampage? That was so bad.
Okay.
What?
It was okay. In defense of my boys love that movie. In defense of Rampage, like it was just a smash 'em bash 'em monster movie that was based off of a fucking video game that all you did was just wreck shit. So I mean, it was what it was. Terrible, maybe, but still, it was a fun watch.
What was the other movie, Skyscraper or whatever, where he had a fake leg?
Never saw that.
That was trash.
Then you had San Andreas.
I didn't see that, but I'm pretty sure that was trash.
Well, it wasn't horrible, but I mean, if you've seen one like disaster movie, you've seen them all.
And that one came out when we had like all the disaster movies were coming out at the same time as well.
Right.
But yeah, this movie is fun. It was kind of interesting a couple of months ago. The John Cena, when he was promoting Fast 9, he actually did a sit down. I watched it, and he was talking about how when he first came into Hollywood, he's like, honestly, I made a lot of terrible movies. He's like, a lot of them were WWE films. And he's like, because he viewed Hollywood as a vehicle to elevate his brand and the WWE brand, that he was an ambassador for the WWE. So he's like, with the roles that he took, he wanted to kind of still keep the character he had in WWE. He didn't allow himself to grow and have a range. And he's like, but once he stopped looking at Hollywood as a vehicle and started looking to have fun and do the things that he likes to do, he's like, he took on much more challenging roles. He took on better roles. People started to view him differently, and he got himself out of the box that he was kind of in, which there are two parts to John Cena's movie career. With The Rock, it never felt like he was using Hollywood as a vehicle. It seemed like Hollywood was kind of trying to box him into a role.
Shit, Hollywood was his ticket out.
Yeah. But again, it seemed like Hollywood at first was kind of like trying to box him into these little niche roles. And the rundown, like I said, was when The Rock kind of came into his own, that he could be funny, he can be serious, he could be the action star. And then after this, he took on a serious role where he played a real life person in Walking Tall, which was a remake of another movie. And then he went on to do Doom, which was a terrible movie, but everybody's going to have those. But
like
then after
he has
that,
the range, like the Gridiron Gang is one of my favorite Rock movies.
Yeah, so it's just kind of interesting, like, to see somebody transition from the WWE into Hollywood so seamlessly. And then when he did come back to WWE, he was older, wiser, grayer, and in shape but out of shape for wrestling. He did 2 matches and he was like, you know what? I don't think I really can do this or want to do this anymore. Hollywood, right? I got stunt doubles.
He's like, fuck taking bumps. Shit.
Well, actually, you know what? I'm mistaken. He came back. He did 3 matches. He had the 2 John Cena matches, and he had the Hogan match was after he went to go do the Mummy, right?
I think so. Yeah. Well, he also had the match with CM Punk where he took the belt from him.
Yeah, that's also when he came back from Hollywood. Yeah. But that was way later. That was like 2010. Because he took the belt from him so he could go fight John Cena.
Yeah.
Which is a whole story.
Yeah.
That's the A&E documentary that's the Dark Side of the Ring we need.
That was 2011. Money in the Bank.
Okay. But what about Hogan versus The Rock?
That was WrestleMania 17. That was one of my favorite WrestleManias.
That match was excellent.
Which would have been 2002 then, right? Yeah, 2002. So that was right before this movie. He was in the midst of filming this, or had just wrapped filming this.
WrestleMania 18, March 17, 2002.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's very interesting. And now we're in the midst of everybody wanting The Rock back. Or by the time you guys hear this, maybe The Rock is back. Who knows?
Honestly, I don't know about wanting him back. I'm interested in seeing an interaction between him and Roman Reigns. That's about it.
Yeah. I don't care what Roman does in that ring. He's not the $40 million man.
Right. And because The Rock has just not been in the ring, again, speaking from wrestlers, I don't give a fuck how big and buff and how much you stayed in shape. Unless he's bumping in the ring on a normal basis, that ring rust is going to show.
You hear that, Mustafa? You hear that?
So that doesn't work in my case. I still got it.
A rocking chair? You still got it in your basement? Anyways, you guys got anything else to say about this film? We all enjoy it. We encourage you guys to go and watch it. Again, I know normally, like I said, we have a guest on. They couldn't make it this time, so you guys got us, and we're telling you go watch this movie. It's worth your time. And I don't think there's going to be a lot of movies on the list we're going to give and endorse. I don't think there's any movie on the list that's going to get this high a rating from
Yeah, I don't think so.
Unanimously. There's only maybe 2 other films in the series that I can think of that may get high marks.
Oculus is the only one that comes to mind.
Wow, way to throw stuff out there.
Oh, I didn't know we were kayfabing it. My bad.
I actually have one I want to add to the list, but we'll talk about that off the record.
This man always trying to add some shit, except for himself to that ring. But go ahead and give out your social medias.
You can catch me at Xavier Mustafa on Facebook and Twitter. You can catch Tru Element at The Ultimate Warrior. That's who he was today. He was interrupting shit, being an asshole.
You can catch me at The Natural Chris Black on Instagram and on Facebook, and on Twitter at _natural_CB. And if you're a fan of New Japan Pro Wrestling, be sure to check out my YouTube channel where I cover all things New Japan.
I'm just trying to give Xavier Mustafa some content to talk about with his therapist and why he has night terrors. But anyways, you can catch me at SlamcasterTE78 over on the Twitter. Be sure to follow us over there on Discord. Also, be sure to hit that subscribe button over here and ring that bell so you're notified whenever new episodes go up. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast wherever you get your podcast from. Completely different content from what you get over here on the YouTube. And new episodes drop every second and fourth Saturday out of the month. Other than that, you can follow us over on Facebook as well at Saturday Night Slamcasters, and join our Slam board, which is more like a group for people to just chat and talk about whatever, whether that be movies or wrestling, music, whatever. Just talk, come in there, join us as well. Other than that, we up out of here. Holla at your boys. Come get slammed. Peace.